And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this best of 5 series, which is going to decide who's gonna qualify for the next DreamHack. Of course, not all is over after this, it's upper bracket, but still lots at stakes here. And here in the top right hand corner, the red Protoss player is currently spawning. Make some noise for MAXPAX. The good guy GLHF. His opponent in the bottom left hand corner instead, in the blue. The man, the legend himself. Well, he's up to regaining his throne lately, and he's gonna try to start making history here in these qualifiers. It is Serral. And I have to say, these two players, like, they almost have history right now. Like, first of all, both Scandinavian. Second of all, they played each other like a million times in the last few months. Like, I remember casting them playing against each other like 5 times since September. And honestly, the games keep on getting better. Of course, MAXPAX nowhere near Serral's level yet. But he gave him quite a few headaches sometimes, and this is starting to get very cheeky, guys. Because it's a little bit of a dirty build here. With this cannon rush going on with 3 pylons, 1 cannon. Not uber committed, but still gonna be very nasty. Actually, 2 cannons. See, oh, it's gonna block up the 2 cannons. Here comes a second probe. And of course, Serral decides against second drones to keep that archery on the low ground. But it's going to be cancelled to make space for a shield battery, which is going to keep these pylons alive. Of course, no real room for anything else over here. And then, oh, he's also going to cancel the shield battery, maybe just to avoid crit getting there for a while. But of course, there's no space for gateways, there's no space for stargates. So, again, this is not the biggest commitment ever. You see a Nexus in the natural of MAXPAX, you see a cybernetic score already being up. No warp gate started yet, because of course the mineral income needed to be high to perform this cannon rush. And MAXPAX actually already sending out the Adept, almost trying to block Serral from getting his third, which he won't manage. Glittering Ash is natural, it's fairly big, so there's still a lot of room for Serral to get into his third with the drone before he can be sniped. And the Adept was slightly too late. We see a Stargate transition going on for MAXPAX, but overall the cannon rush has been successful, stopping his natural from going up. And also deploying a shield battery over here. MAXPAX wants to play even more aggressive so far. It seems that this man has decided to switch his playstyle for this very important match. Been criticized a little for being a little bit one-dimensional with his Stargate play, trying to rush into carriers and something. Oh my god, an Evo Chamber to stop the Adepts from getting into the mineral line. Well played by Serral. But the shield battery is gonna top these Adept yet again, ready to shade in once more. Well, shade out once more, most likely, after getting in. It's a little bit too many lanes for MAXPAX to actually get past, but of course, forcing a lot of resources, getting a little bit of damage, forcing also a little bit of mining time, while he's getting his Oracle out. We see one already on the map over here, with a Void Ray in production in the Stargate, actually being placed in the natural, just under the eyes of Serral, who's pretty much always going to see what's in production here. At least until that Void Ray is out, which is definitely going to kill the Overload. It's going to be 2 drones falling down, but his Oracle is going to fall down as well. MAXPAX overstaying his welcome in the third base is Serral, well, natural, most likely. While the Zerg player trying to look for a counter-strike, not really gonna find a way in for his Zerglings to get any significant damage. The first few Roaches are out, as well as the first few Ravagers, which of course are going to be incredibly important in shutting down the lock that MAXPAX has placed in Serral's natural. Larry's going up as well. Oh, more Ravagers in the production. This guy over here is a little bit blocked by his fellows. But indeed, there's really not enough firepower for MAXPAX to break past the Ravagers and the Queens right now. You see the Void trying to focus down the Ravagers. A few drones kind of stuck in the transition. Oh, this is interesting. The regeneration saved that poor little fella. This Queen has a lot of energy. Will be a real shame if he went down and no transfuse available on his other Queen. The Ling's trying to get around the Stalker. The shield battery is really out of juice. And this Void Ray over here is instead going to be topped by the other shield batteries to fight against the Ravagers, stopping them from killing the proxy. More Queens gonna be used, but the Queen with the most energy has fallen down. Serral needs to find another way out of his main base, and that way is a Nidus network. Worm in his main? Who knows? Void Ray in the main instead is going to be deflected. That's a lot of Ravagers trying to pile down the pylons. Still the Lings tanking up so much shots from these Stalkers. Charge not done yet. These Zealots are going to be very slow compared to the speed of Queens, Ravagers and Lings on creep. As soon as they're out on creep, it's a whole different story. There's still one probe up, which is going to place a pylon over here. The Zealots trying to give time to the probe to place even more pylons. Two Ravagers very ready now, but they're going to survive. The Queens also very important with the prismatic overcharge. Honestly not doing much, just killing the Roaches, which are very tanky, but of course that's not the most scary part of this defense out of Serral. More Zealots going to be warped in, still no charge available, but they do pack a punch anyway. The Queen's barely surviving, one Ravager is going to fall down. These Zealots are just not fast enough without their key upgrade. And they're gonna be mid-fodder, another Queen falling down. This Void Ray is just not falling, is it? With two Void Rays, meanwhile over here in the main trying to get in the defenses of Serral. Their Roach transforms into a Ravager, barely staying alive. But right now Serral has a lot of power, of strength in these forces, and there's not a lot of energy in these shield batteries. Meanwhile, a Nidus Worm going on over here at the third base of MAXPAX, stopping him most likely from getting an expansion. And these last few Lings are going to shut down the proxy completely. The Void Ray is still trying to deal damage, still trying to do things. They're going to be recalled just barely for defense. But the Queen's already popping down quick tumors left and right, with another Nidus Worm here on the left to move units around as fast as possible. Meanwhile, a very slow Zealot run by is trying to go up over here, but the Nidus Worm makes it very easy for Serral to move his army around. This Nidus Worm over here is going to be sacked, but another one is up in the left. MAXPAX is going to find out what's going on, and he's going to try to move his army around to deal with it. It's mostly Void Rays, so Serral just doesn't have enough anti-air so far, I think. But, oh my god, 11 Queens? I think he does have enough. Of course he cannot spare them all, but it's still going to be almost impossible for MAXPAX to break through Serral's defenses. I think Serral, honestly, I think he got this in the back. After a very clean defense, this Nidus Worm doesn't really look like it has a lot of counterplay available for MAXPAX. Not enough mobility on this army, and his run-bys are just not dealing enough damage. You can see in the resources lost tab that this has kind of worked out in favor of Serral so far. Losing a little bit more Vespene, but nothing too significant, not at this stage of the game, at least. With MAXPAX being much more starved for gas minerals as well, to be completely honest. Just now taking his fur base, while Serral has already an impressive army supply amount of 90, with an infestation pit transition at the ready, and lots of queens. These void rays are gonna find themselves a very nasty surprise, trying to push into this Nidus Worm. Well, another Nidus Worm is going up on the right side. MAXPAX needs to hold to this fur base like it was the most important thing on the planet. And honestly, for him, I think it is. It's basically defend this or die right now. It's so many queens hitting on these void rays. The shield batteries are gonna try to keep them alive, but one of the void rays is going to fall down. The sentries trying to do their best, but they're also going to tank a couple shots too much. And honestly, this one little sentry is not going to do enough, eating a little bit of energy out of the shield batteries while the queens are marching forward. And there's so many roaches and ravagers. These void rays are going to be almost always zoned by the piles, which are going to try to lock down the shield batteries as well. Shield battery overcharge almost finished, and this base is not looking healthy enough for MAXPAX to really hold it still. And it's going to fall down indeed. MAXPAX not really able to expand to any other side. He's going to try to fight for his life over here in the natural, but the march of the queens continues, and so does the march of the creep. No overseers out, so meaning that this Dark Shrine play might buy MAXPAX some time. While he's getting a hidden base in the bottom right, which can actually work. But Serral is in a little bit too much of a good spot with a hive transition incoming, and his army is still marching forward. There's one disruptor on the ground trying to deal with these roaches, and it's actually going to take a very good shot, lowering the army of Serral by a tiny bit. But variety is not in MAXPAX's favor right now. He may be able to deal with a couple units, but he's not really able to deal with them all. Dark Templars gonna try to buy some time, as I was saying before, with a little bit of a Zealon run by getting 3 drones killed. Hydra then incoming, and Vipers as well. Maybe a Lurker then transition is going to be what Serral wants to use to find to end the game. But MAXPAX wants to make a final stand, and that's a pretty aggressive final stand. Queens on creep, they move pretty fast. There's no shield batteries to keep these void rays alive. And honestly, right now with 11 drones falling down to the Dark Templar, MAXPAX might have found a way to gain back some time, but I don't think that all the time in the world can save you, buddy. Like, this is not a powerful army. It's pretty decent at catching Serral by surprise, maybe dealing a couple low blows, but it's not gonna last forever, and Serral has a huge transition incoming. That's a lot of Hydra then. Void Rays trying to bring the fight to the queens, but it's time for the Vipers to come in clutch with this parasitic bomb, hitting so much damage on these Void Rays, which are almost all going to fall to it. The others are gonna left scattering, looking for a shield battery to top their shields off, but their health not in the green at all. It's Tempest for MAXPAX, the call to try and stay in this game. But it's looking grim for the Protoss player. The hidden base has worked out plenty so far, but I think Serral is about to find out. And that's honestly enough roaches to shut down the only cannon left over here. There's one Dark Templar. Yeah, I don't think you can beat it, Serral. But finding out what's going on over here, it's indeed a very good thing for Serral, especially with another roaches finding out the other base that MAXPAX is mining plentiful from and duct over a Void Ray actually. Like, not the most key unit. Like, MAXPAX has a lot of those, but oh yikes. Yeah, these probes are definitely not gonna survive a lot, and yeah, MAXPAX stays. He's looking even more ruined. Again, another aggressive play from the Protoss player, looking to kill a base with Prismatic Ray overcharge. The Transfuse is going up on his archer to keep it alive as long as possible, but the rest of the army of Serral is just chipping down these Void Rays. I don't know if chipping down is the right word either. They're just absolutely annihilating these Void Rays. Oh, the Queens! It needs 2 Purification Novas, luckily for Serral. But they were wandering a little bit too far. MAXPAX still not finding the key to topple Serral. Now he's getting high tempers, trying to buy more time, but look at the army of Serral already marching through with so many Hydras. So many. The upgrades are not like crazy good, but he has muscular augments and Groot spines, as well as +2 range attack in the making. The Hydras dodging around the Purification Novas, and it's now just Tempests and Void Rays, and these Hydras are just going to absolutely melt through the remaining forces that MAXPAX is deploying to keep this base alive. So if the base before was very important for MAXPAX, this is absolutely vital. MAXPAX with honestly no more resources to mine from. Like, he only has 47 workers. He's trying to get deep space over here, but it's only going to be defended by Disruptors and Tempests. Serral getting a critical mass of Hydra Viper forces with a Lurkadan incoming. Storm is not even remotely close to finishing. At this stage, it's looking like the Bluezer is only trying to find the right moment to deal the finishing blow. Nova number 1 going to hit only 2 Hydras. Storm not ready yet. DZI Temper over here is very important to collect enough energy to deal with this, but again, this base is absolutely vital for MAXPAX. Serral going to weigh the Purification Nova out. The feedbacks over the Vipers are going to be very good. But yeah, now it's time for the Lings as well to chime in and kill even more probes. These Tempests are doing their best, as well as the Disruptors, to kill and zone. But there's really nothing left standing. MAXPAX has no econ. He has no real production. He has not real strong forces. And these might look like a final stand, but it's more like a desperation play from the Protoss player, with Serral rallying more and more units in. He doesn't even care this wasn't resource efficient. MAXPAX has no resources to work with. Well, a couple drones are going to fall to what I think was a Zealot, not Zealot, sorry, Dark Temple run by, oh actually it was Zealots. But yeah, Serral gets game number 1 of the series. And MAXPAX sending in the probe out again. This time probably not gonna go for a first or second, I'm not too sure. It's just going to be the average hatch block that we've seen in countless PvZ in the history of this game. Of course, always a good choice. But Serral is indeed going to take his third and forget about it. So we've seen Serral going for the counter-aggression with a Nidus network and really getting a ton of control of the map with it, forcing MAXPAX to be behind in resources and economy for pretty much the whole game. This time, maybe we will be seeing some of the more standard MAXPAX builds. The ones which try to rush tech and get a strong air army as fast as possible without really delaying your opponent too much, if not with oracles, maybe a couple run-bys here and there. Storm Carriers, this is going to be the name of the game for MAXPAX, since it has been like this for a really long time. And I'm actually curious to see if he's going to go for the air weapons upgrade as fast as possible. Of course, after Warp Gate, like that is a given. You can see not immediate Warp Gate on the cybernetics core, meaning we're heading into another Stargate game. Oh wow, what? It's a fake. Huh. Like, this is not something you do. This is faking a Stargate play. While MAXPAX is instead going for the Twilight Council. This is very clever. Very, very clever. Like, right now Serral is like, yeah, I'm not even going to scout this. Like, I know it's going to be a Stargate play. This warp gate started so late. MAXPAX probably just needed resources. But, yeah, it's not like that. This Stalker already giving a little bit of information. You don't really go for a Stalker second if you go for a Stargate. The Overloads spread around, also going to give a little bit of information, while this Adept is trying to do a little bit of damage, gain a little bit of scouting. Of course, this is the start of the game. A Resonating Glaives upgrade. And the second Adept is going to be slightly delayed. Again, this is another red flag for Serral. This Stalker over here, not really what you're used to see against Stargate. The Robo is going up as well. The Warp Prism is going to be very late to the party. So we're going to see MAXPAX actually hiding a lot of Adepts before moving out, which might mean that this attack will hit a little bit later than MAXPAX wants it to hit. Serral going to get the Spore Crawler for defense, but most importantly, he's going to get a Roach Warren not rushing to Lair Tech. And be ready against anything. That has always been the name of the game for Serral. And it is really looking like this game as well. The Adept will not attack the lanes. Hiding Resonating Glaives for a little bit longer. Yeah, but as of now, that's a lot of Adepts. I think Serral knows what's up. And now, will this guy get enough damage for MAXPAX to advance to the later stages of the game with a much cleaner advantage compared to the previous game? That's a whole other question. Adept's gonna bring the fight to the Queens. There's so many roaches out already. Lair incoming. Lanes not really high in numbers, but the Queens over here are just absolutely annihilating these Adepts. There's no Warp Prism to replenish those forces, and MAXPAX is going to get back, fight another day, but have an Immortal transition, so no Warp Prism to keep the gateway production up. Nullify Defender's advantage. Instead, going to try and get very strong units, very adept. I know it sounds like a joke. Very adept at killing roaches and ensuring these adepts instead do their job a little bit better. And their job is definitely what you are about to see over here, being absolutely annihilate drones, but they're going to shade out of there. Of course, too many roaches to fight. Serral has a lot of Queens in a weird spot. Oh, this surround with the lanes over the Adepts, so many Adepts shading into the main. They're not looking very healthy right now. The lanes are gonna catch up to them. And not even Resonating Glaives can keep those alive. But the Dark Shrine is again the play from MAXPAX, but this is looking so grim again. The third base this early in the game is such a key position to hold. And MAXPAX? Yeah, it's a couple Immortals. These Queens have so many transfuses at the ready. This Queen is going to be staying alive forever. Well, not forever, but for a very long time. Shield battery not empowered by any pylon, meaning that this Nexus is most likely going down. MAXPAX doesn't have enough forces to keep it alive, especially with these lanes sharking around, looking for damage. They're gonna look for these adepts and kill them before the recall is completed. Now Serral looking to do something out of these many lanes, aside from catching units here and there. That is of course a Baneling Nest transition, ready to break through the defenses, or maybe defend for a little while longer against these shades that are going to happen left and right in his own side of the map. If he's not careful enough, 3 Immortals out, Warp Prism in the production. MAXPAX is getting a decent army, decent upgrades as well, with Blink and +1 ground weapons. But he might be needing to deal a little bit of damage, at least to the army of Serral, before he can advance to the later stages a little bit more unchecked. Overseer is gonna get a full scouting of the base of the Protoss player. Meanwhile, MAXPAX trying to gain control of the watchtowers and trying to be aggressive with those Warp Prism. How many gateways are out there? I think it's 4. It's 6 actually. And it's a decent production. These adepts are definitely not finding damage. Probably gonna die before the shades even complete. And MAXPAX with an Observer out is finally gonna clear out some of this creep, which was getting way too aggressive, with Queens marching through the map. Banelings out, no Baneling speed out yet. These Sentries force fields going to be pretty much key to keep the Banelings at bay, but once they get in, they can deal so much damage. The Adepts are not exactly the tankiest of units. The force fields are very good on the side of MAXPAX, really chipping down the army of Serral piece by piece. Serral is still in a leading position, and these Sentries force fields are not gonna last forever. Of course, with Blink, MAXPAX is not a way to deal with the Banelings, but the Banelings are just not carrying enough. They try to get through. The force fields are good enough to keep the Banelings from dealing way too much damage, but it's still enough for the rest of the army of Serral to gain a full surround and advantageous position and push into the remaining forces of MAXPAX without breaking a sweat. This defense by Serral has been insane so far. MAXPAX trying to cut corners left and right and not finding the right piece to solve the puzzle the Serral defense is. These Immortals being juggled around by these Warp Prism are not looking the healthiest. Without any army to support them, they're gonna fall down very fast. Serral knows better than to fully commit into that aggressive position, but he has so much creep right now, he just has to wait a little while for his reinforcements to come in clutch and close out this game. Ravager Bias are gonna finish this shield battery before he can get any real healing on the units of MAXPAX. Beautiful Purification Nova by this Disruptor over here in 7 units. It's not really looking enough. Serral battling down his own Overseer. And honestly, by killing 20 probes, I think he's probably happy enough. 4 drones are falling to Resonating Blades. That's actually transfusing a drone. And yeah, Serral, no, stop, Serral. That's your lair, man. Oh no. Yeah, he stopped. 4 drones falling down. This Warp Prism juggle has been looking nothing short of amazing on the side of MAXPAX, but honestly, it's very far from being enough. Serral looking absolutely unstoppable today. Another Disruptor in the making. Infestation Pit on the way for Serral. A full transition into Hive. It will be an absolute nightmare from MAXPAX. 2 bases against 5, well, soon to be 5. With The lane's getting control of the top side. It's just a 4 right now. Yeah, okay, it's 4, yeah. I wasn't correct at all. It's just a 4 bases of Serral, but... Man, the army of MAXPAX is not looking good enough. Roaches and Ravagers taking advantage of the huge crit spread that Serral was able to establish here on Curious Minds. Oh, these Disruptors trying to do their best. But now that Warp Prism's speed is done, maybe this guy over here might do something a little bit better. At least gain a couple minutes by killing some of these unsuspecting army on the side of Serral. Well, not really unsuspecting, was it? Oh, the Disruption Nova actually hitting something, another Purification Nova, killing a couple lanes. Not really hitting Jackpot, but it's good enough. Oh my god, this Disruptor is in a really bad spot. Oh, the Banelings! Oh, that's a red carpet for these Banelings. And that's a dead economy. I've seen a lot of GG timings, guys. And this is definitely looking like one of them. These Banelings, 3 of them, and boom. Victory screen for Serral. Match point in this best of 5. And you gotta love these PVCs on Blackburn. This bad boy over here and over here makes for some fine gains. It really gives a whole new meaning to the tech rush that this matchup usually is. And of course, Stargate is most likely going to be the best choice for MAXPAX. It didn't go for it twice in a row. Like, yeah, game number 1 it was a Stargate play somewhat after Cannon Rush. And honestly, seeing switch into a different playstyle for this tournament, it's good. It has worked very well so far, but right now it's not working at all. And when it's do or die, you kinda reset to your standard. And I want to see the signature Stargate play that MAXPAX can offer. Let's check over here. No instant warp gate, meaning only one thing. It's back to basics for the Protoss player. And Serral already sending an alert to scout over here at his own golden base. He doesn't want his opponent to block this off. He wants to take it probably as early as possible, as soon as he can gain control of his own side of the map with a couple defensive structures. And the link over here to scout for any potential early eco play on MAXPAX side. Oh, it's a Void Ray first, not an Oracle. MAXPAX cares more about killing these Overload than he cares about dealing actual damage on the other side of the map. Which is an interesting take, because on one side, Golden Bases is not something you can really shut down unless you shut down the Golden Base itself. And like, honestly, with the Stargate play, Oracles are pretty much all you get to deal damage early on for a little bit of time. Like, until your opponent has like Lair Tech, like, there's really no other way to deal damage. And an Oracle first can deal damage a little bit faster, can maybe avoid the Spore Crawlers, and have to deal only with Queens. Like, as of now, the Oracle is just not breaking through. This Void Ray over here trying to snap down Overlords, actually trying to snap down on drones. They do not kill drones fast enough, so it's not really going to deal a lot of damage. Whoa, the Oracle. Actually getting 4 kills? Like, that's not too bad. I think the Void Ray had a pretty huge part in finishing off these drones before Serral could actually save them. And the Wings gonna try to break down these rocks, but there's still Void Rays and Oracles over here. And the Wings are not really close enough. You can see the Stargate count starting to grow, pumping out more and more Void Rays. With of course Robo Bay, Forge, and all the pieces of tech for a powerful ground army that is needed to deflect early aggression on the side of Serral, or deal some kind of damage. Of course, Disruptors are pretty much the only AoE you're gonna get for a little while, because Storm is not really efficient if you do not have a lot of units to support the High Templars. So Disruptors, maybe even Colossi can be better early on, but Colossi Void Rays, not the best of armies. Colossi Phoenixes, it's a different story. Serral going for the ground upgrade with melee. The beacon is incoming and it's a very early Spire from Serral, pretty much as early as you can get it, as well as a very early Infestation Pit. Serral cutting corners, the race is on, and the golden bases are going to be the key of this race. Supporting a lot of early drones, early probes, early zealots, early lings, and queens of course, to gain a powerful army to defend those golden bases early on and maybe trade those units constantly until your tech is at the stage you want it to be. Which is getting very close for this guy over here. The carriers incoming already, and the third Stargate being up, meaning that soon enough MAXPAX might be able to have, oh my god, +1 air weapons, absolutely melt Zerglings. The Adepts actually trying to get a little bit of damage, not enough Lings to get us around, but enough Adepts to kill a couple drones. Which is honestly all MAXPAX wants as of now. Doesn't really want to deal any damage by any means. He wants his army to grow strong and powerful very quickly. His carriers are basically going to be having millions of interceptors this game with his golden base, keeping them topped. A 7-minute Isle and 40 mutas are in the making. Oof. Again, this has to be the best map to race tech ever. It's Serral getting a lot of it and supporting it with replaceable units. Not so replaceable right now, will be very replaceable later on. And I want to see these mutas actually start to gain a little bit of an advantage for Serral, trying to look for Void Rays or even just probes, getting in the main base, killing a couple probes. And now bringing the fight to the Void Rays. Void Rays are not really the best unit to kill the mutas. Carriers are much better at that. And 3 Void Rays and 4 probes are going to fall, while Serral is only going to lose a couple mutas. And meanwhile, Infestors in the making, Macabre's Shroud, or even for those Neuroparasites, these roaches over here, bringing a lot of acid into this mineral line in the golden base. 5 probes, and they're giving enough time. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Purification Nova is not going to be enough. These units went past the Adept, and now they're scattering in main, getting here in the mineral line over here, while the roaches and mutas team up in the natural. So many probes falling down for MAXPAX, while Serral is not really slowing down. His army is growing stronger and stronger. His economy is insane. The hive is up. A greater Spire is incoming with Vipers and Infestors already on the field. The Mothership is an interesting transition Especially since the two overseers are like not in the craziest spots. They're not traveling around with the Mutas or with the Vipers. They're just there for defense and for scouting. Well, roaches are going to stop this base from going up for a little while. Not long enough. Second Spire for upgrades, while 10 Corruptors are in the making, and Corruptors are gonna deal with the Mothership very quickly as well as with Carriers. Especially teamed with Vipers. The Void Rays are the big scare, the big threat to these Corruptors. And the Spore Cooler Forest is started with these 3 guys over here. That's a lot of Corruptors spawning right now. The Queens are not really in the best spot for defense. You can see the Abducts going on top of the Disruptors to keep the Queens in a good spot to fight, but these Void Rays with +2 air weapons are going to deal crazy damage. MAXPAX biting back Microbial Shroud, trying to keep these Queens up and alive. The Parasite Bomb is going to deal with one of these carriers. Meanwhile, the Corruptors trying to get on top of the carriers as well. The Mothership still up and standing, still giving support to these units. And there's really not enough Corruptors right now. Serral is trying to sending these roaches out. It's not really doing enough. A lot of Void Rays and carriers are falling down. And in the end, this trade hurt both players a lot. But Serral, it's just crazy in tech and economy right now. Like 90 army supply with 80 workers, and his tech, like, it cannot really be much better than this. The Void Rays left chasing Mutas around to avoid the Mutas giving too much damage, while the carriers and the Mothership are left behind to deal with the Queens. Of course, the Corruptors are no match for these Void Rays with these upgrades, but these Mutas are just too fast. There's not really much to deal with them as of now. 5 more probes are falling. MAXPAX forced to replace probe after probe. Now the Void Ray finally get some vengeance. But over here, 8 probes are going to fall. The base is not going to be stopped. But MAXPAX has lost slightly more than Serral. And now it's Broodlord's time. The Queen count is not really that great with 8 Queens. You want like a million of them at this stage, but the Spore Crawler Forest is growing very quickly, and with these many Corruptors in the air, turning into Broodlords as well, there's not really much to deal with them. So many Void Rays are still the scare play. It's going to be very tough for Serral to deal with those. You can see these Spore Crawlers really adept at dealing with the Interceptors. But right now, like, this is a first one. Slowing down these Porcolours so that they don't kill stuff fast enough. But MAXPAX decides against fighting on top of those crawlers. Killing creep tumors left and right. As you can see, Serral's creep spread is definitely not insane. Meaning that these zealots run by might gain a lot of friction. Oh, the Spore Crawler Forest over here is in a little bit of danger with these zealots hacking through it. Lings are not really the best at fighting these zealots, but they're gonna have much better upgrades and they're gonna be supported by roaches. Meanwhile, the rest of the army of MAXPAX going into the main. Oh, the Purification Nova is not gonna hit the Infestors. Microbial Shroud still up, and these Queens are just not falling, are they? Parasitic Bomb is gonna eat all of the Void Rays, and right now with Fungal Growth being used as well, you can see these Void Rays absolutely melting. Microbial Shroud doing insane work, keeping these Queens alive. And the ground army is going to be absolutely melted down by Broodlords. Now it's the Corruptors chasing down carriers and Mothership. And MAXPAX lost a huge battle. The Zealot Run-By was able to kill 17 drones. But the army of MAXPAX is almost non-existent as of now. Yeah, the economy of Serral is slowed down. But does he care enough about it, that eco right now? Like, his army is just absolutely insane. His upgrades are absolutely insane. His tech is absolutely insane. And now the Zerg player is looking to bite back, kill probes himself. and maybe try to tie the worker count. I don't think there are any more mutas in the air. Oh, actually there are 5. Where are they? Oh, they're just with the corruptors. But the real run-by over here, I'm going to deal enough damage. Killing a cannon is not really what Serral was looking to do. Maybe just trying to catch a little bit of MAXPAX attention. While the drone count is not really raising. Serral not really replacing the losses in economy. It's just dropping down more tech. And of course the big scary part. It's going to be Neuroparasite. And the Ultra Govern as well, to be honest. Is going to be tough to deal with for the Protoss player. Another Mothership in production, as well as more Void Grace to deal with the Corruptors. Tempest in the making as well. MAXPAX looking to abandon his carrier play. Only having the 4 in his army right now. Way too easy to deal with. With Serral having Neuroparasite and of course the Abducts to kill them fast and without really giving them the chance to bite back. Actually, also the upgrade which I don't remember the name of for the Tempest to deal with structures even better. Killing the Spore Forest before it lays too many eggs. Like Serral kind of didn't try to take advantage of the huge win he had. Playing these slowly, just in Serral style, is the name of the game for the Zerg player. And it doesn't really have too much threat on him. He doesn't really have to end this game fast. He's going to outgrow MAXPAX soon enough. But the next few battles are not going to be very easy for him. For his opponent as well. The Fungal Growth. Oh, the Fungal. Maybe paired with another Parasitic Bomb. The feedback is actually huge. But the Brulords are what are dealing the real bad damage right now. A recall not to the farthest away nexus possible. And his Mothership is just going to explode in the air before actually doing anything. The Brulords are marching forward. Well, not really marching, flying forward. Slowly but steadily. Trying to get on top of these nexus, and there's not really much for defense. As you can see, Serral really relying on his spellcaster's control to deal with the army of MAXPAX. Now the Tempests are trying to bite back at the Brulords, forcing Serral behind, actually. While the Blue Zerg actually sending some roaches over here at the Golden Base, and as you can see, I called it before, now the workers count is tied, and MAXPAX needs those workers much more than Serral does. With the Spore Forest he has, Serral can play passively. MAXPAX cannot allow that to grow too much. But he cannot really step out of his base either. Not with these Corruptors and Vipers sharking around, looking for a chance to abduct key units. More infestors being produced by Serral to drop down even more infestation, fungal growth, and neuroparasites. I was saying infestation pit for some awkward reason. Forget about it. I think one infestation pit is going to be good enough for Serral. Oh, the abduct! That was a very long range attack. Oh, but the feedback, the flanking feedback over the Vipers. Crazy play from MAXPAX, almost kills the Viper. But in the end, Serral wins the trade once more. And it's about to be time to gain control of the two most important bases in this map. Aside of the golden ones, which are almost depleted as of now. Which is going to be this one, Northern, and this one, Southern. If any of those two players gain control and keeps control of any of those two bases for a long time, He's going to build a bank advantage, which is going to be absolutely nightmarish to deal with. And right now you can see Serral already building a very significant bank. It's always long and interesting games between those two guys. Really playing the late game stage very proficiently. Oh, the probes being sent out for blood. Oh, but he's... Oh my god, what a hero, Ling. Oh my goodness. That guy. Yeah, no 10 probes died, guys, but... Like, they were sent dying, and that one hero Ling just absolutely destroyed them. Now MAXPAX even blocking off the entrance over here with cannons and shield batteries, which are going to be very easy to deal with for these many queens and broodlords. Oh, but the golden base is under heavy pressure, and Serral is going to finish these nexus off with his ground forces. Meanwhile, over here, MAXPAX trying to take this base, while Serral's forces are on the top side. Serral's ground forces are on the top side. His air army is over here, and these broodlords are going to be very careful around those tempests, I'm sure of it. Serral waiting to have enough ground army to break that without the tempests getting shots on the broodlords. Serral also getting control of the top side. So many spore crawlers being dropped, as well as spines, of course, to keep this base alive. Serral knows how important this base is going to be, and keeping it alive is the name of the game. MAXPAX knows the same, dropping on floating cannons and shield batteries. But the bank, oh boy, the bank that Serral is building up is absolutely insane. The Tempest trying to get on top of the broodlords. They can deal with them very easily from a very long range, almost one-shotting them. I think it takes like 3 Tempest shots to kill one broodlord, and MAXPAX, he has 5. Oh, wait a second, he has 7. He can one-shot 2 broodlords at a time, which is kind of crazy. And you can see the upgrade to deal with structures is just absolutely insane. He kills structures so fast. But MAXPAX doesn't really have a lot of defenses over here. These Woodras left to deal with roaches. Broodlords trying to find a way around those Tempests, while Serral actually not really replacing the lost air units, actually making ultras to have a powerful ground option. Meanwhile, MAXPAX biting back, killing one base over here, not really killing the base on the top, but this was another very important base for Serral. You can see the feedbacks going on top of many infestors, fungals being dropped, but the infestors are falling like flies. Can MAXPAX fight back? The broodlords not really good enough to deal with air army, but these corruptors are just not falling, are they? +3 armor for air units is in the making for MAXPAX, while Serral has had these 2 crazy upgrades for a very long time. And you can see those corruptors really putting the work. Again, Serral wins another battle. The war is not over yet. The broodlords marching forward. There's so many corruptors in here, and Vipers are ready to support them. There's just the one infestor. You can see the corruptors not really caring enough. They just want to march forward. The Tempest cannot deal with these corruptors fast enough. The broodlords are just a distraction. Many void rays out. But Serral is looking to abduct and even drop Power City bombs on them. This base is the key point. Serral knows it. He's leapfrogging his spore crawlers forward, and he's looking to deal the finishing blow. The broodlords are marching there. This is not a base you're allowed to lose as MAXPAX. Oh, Ultras on the ground! Trying to get on top of the Eye Templars. These broodlords are in a very defensive position over the spore crawlers, with the Ultras and actually the Corruptors as well, trying to get a flank. The Tempest desperately trying to make their way forward to deal with the broodlords. They do find a way through, but 8 more probes are going to fall down. While Serral, the Ultras, man, they're getting forward. The Void Rays are just destroying them, but the Corruptors count is not really slowing down. More Corruptors are in the making, and MAXPAX is just not dealing with them fast enough. Broodlords over here trying to kill even more probes, trying to kill these Nexus. This base is key. Meanwhile, Serral sending his Ultras on the top left. The multi-pronged 25 minutes attack. And can MAXPAX deal with this? The Ultras are unstoppable over here. A recall is available, but you cannot recall these units. Otherwise, Serral is just going to absolutely melt through the other base. Oh, but this base is going down. There's not really much MAXPAX can do with it. Meanwhile, a huge battle is happening over here. Fungal Growth and Parasitic Bomb. Such a powerful combination. Lowering the amount of Void Rays, lowering their health. Until the Corruptors can come in clutch and deal with them one at a time. Slowly but steadily destroying the army of MAXPAX. Serral gets the series.